Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders, let's talk Penguins and Rangers, but let's not talk about Flyers, cause they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny.
This is the Jesus Washes Your Feet episode of the Friends and Rivals podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Harkness, joining me each week.
Stephen Wojtowicz.
My feet always got that stank. This is Bill Fougere.
Nick Larita. I wasn't allowed to be in any of the commercials. Tom Brady was in like 17. What the hell, man? Come on. Throw us a little money, Tom.
Share the love,
Jesus
Tom.
was a close second. Jesus was in 15 of the commercials. It was unbelievable. The whole feet thing, I could totally get on board with that commercial.
Yeah, I mean,
it was probably my
anybody
favorite
who
commercial of the
doesn't
night.
know Tom, Tom is your resident foot fetish.
Tom was rock hard throughout that commercial.
Who needs Blue Chew? Just give me that commercial.
Tom
all
absolutely
I
had
need.
to excuse himself after that commercial.
It was, in my opinion, the best commercial of the evening. But there was a lot of Jesus commercials. My God, why?
They've been running them all
where
year,
does-
though.
Where does he get the funding for this?
Well, they don't pay taxes, so you know.
Wait,
Well-
it's him. He's paying for the commercials.
I don't think Jesus is up there writing fucking checks, dude. It's you know.
How do you know?
You try
Pretty sure
writing
we
a
know.
check with your hand all fucked up like that.
Yeah, you can't. The pen would go right through his hand.
He's
yeah.
got a hole in it. It's not that big of a deal. I can still hold a pen even if I had a hole in my hand.
You think that's how he holds it? He just puts the pen through the hole and he just writes like
And just-
Tom.
No, he holds it like a normal. Well, he's not
No,
normal.
he's not normal. He probably doesn't even
He's
need a pen.
definitely
He's
not normal.
fucking.
He doesn't even need a pen.
He's Jesus.
He's Jesus. But I just don't know where he gets the money for the super spots. I mean, there's like what, a couple $1 million for a 30-second spot? Where's he
Dude.
getting the money for all this?
He's a good
that was
fucking carpenter.
millions.
I mean, was he building?
Altars.
Did he whittle it out of one piece of wood?
Yeah, just
Be careful. There's a lot of lacquer on that one. But there was the super on Sunday.
oh wait.
Anybody win any money?
Oh, you know what I just realized?
You missed
What, the
watching.
No, I'm gonna have to
Super
do a
Bowl was
lot
so
of
good.
censoring.
That was really overtime.
This is the
It
one
was
day
amazing.
a year.
I
you don't have
hate
to do
this episode.
No, it's not possible.
Oh, I always hate this episode.
It's the best one. We talked about this. So was this the closest a Jet has been to the Joe Namath?
I mean,
By that.
closest in
The
Making a
the
big
guy who caught the
difference?
touchdown for the Chiefs, right? There wasn't he.
Oh,
Didn't he
man.
start
Yes.
on? Didn't he start with the
Yeah.
season with the Jets?
He was a Jet to
Yeah.
start the season. Yes.
Yep. Formerly,
Kadarius Toney has more fucking rings than everybody on the Jets and the Giants
does
combined.
Does he end up getting one, or do they just go?
No.
Of course.
Better.
He-
It's better if we don't give you one because we want to
No,
follow the.
He got one last year. Obviously, he played in the game last year, right? But he gets one. He played for the entire season this year. Didn't he play in a playoff game too?
I
I honestly don't remember.
I think they
thought
said
the
him
whole phrase started at the first game of the playoffs.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, they started. He was injured.
I would imagine he got one. I would imagine
He
he's going
wasn't
to get
injured the last few weeks. They didn't play him because he's terrible. And I was gonna make the joke that they shouldn't give him one because he's terrible.
But because
they
he was
just
going to drop,
left.
is he going to drop the ring? Is that why you don't want to give it to him?
He beat me to it.
I mean,
Well,
at that point,
listen-
would you want it if you were him? I mean,
Fuck yeah!
why?
For
Dude,
the entire season,
sat
Fuck
him.
Yeah, I want a ring.
They sat him because he was horrible. He just is not a good player, and he's got a lot of talent, but it doesn't make up for all the dumb plays he's made. He literally destroyed one of the craziest plays I've ever seen in the game, and cost the
Offside.
Kansas by just not paying attention, and whatever. Anyway, long story short, doesn't matter. They want. He probably should get it anyway.
He's not going to make a lot more money in the NFL, so he may as well take the ring and hawk it. Get whatever it's worth on the open market.
It'll be on a future episode of Pawn Stars. That's great. I thought overall the game was great. I enjoyed the game thoroughly. It people could say it got a little boring, but it was I think a defensive struggle a
Yeah.
little bit for the majority of the game, and I thought it was great. I
thought the
didn't
first
mind
half
the
was-
overtime rules either.
No, it's way better this way.
Yeah,
It
people
makes
were
no- it
pissed
makes no
about the
sense.
fucking overtime. I was all right with it.
What would they want?
It ended
Huh?
in the same way that any overtime game would have ended before, because they already had changed the rule previously that, if you don't score a touchdown, you have to get the ball back anyway on the first score.
Well, they changed the rule like 3 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Didn't they say, or 2 years ago? There was like 28 games since the
But
rule's
now
been
it's-
changed, and this is the first one
Yeah.
that went to.
But how would
But now
they
it's-
like change the rule to what? What would you have? What would they have preferred? People who didn't like
Yeah.
it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
don't know.
what
It
else
doesn't
can you
make
do?
sense.
I mean, both teams get a shot. What are you gonna just
Right.
play another 4 quarters? I mean, what the fuck you want?
I think it's all the people that were like, "Oh, I wanted San Francisco to win with a field goal and make it sudden death," which was never the rule anyway, because not for ever, right? So it didn't matter. The only thing that was confusing to me was that they have a clock on the overtime, and so when Kansas City is going down the field, I'm like, "Are they gonna fucking lose a because they run out the clock because they don't know?" Like, I didn't know what was
No,
going on in that part.
I'm
But-
sure it would flip sides,
It's the
just the
first
flip
half.
sides. Yeah.
Exactly, it's the first half of the overtime.
They would have brought the Zamboni out. They would have.
Yeah,
They would have
yeah.
Clean
iced.
the ice,
Yeah,
But they didn't explain that part of it,
yeah,
or I didn't,
clean the
I
ice.
didn't hear
That would
that.
have been done.
t-shirt cannons, maybe.
So I was getting very concerned. It was like they're just walking around under a minute left, and it was like nonchalant, But
I'm
I thought it was
surprised
very-
they didn't go. I'm surprised they didn't go 7-on-7 in overtime. I would have preferred that. No, Nick, that was a joke. Nick, it was a joke.
That was a heck of a. I will say, a heck of a.
I read.
This is something coming from Bill to say it was a heck of a football game. Period. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
It was it was a very enjoyable big game, one of the best in quite some time.
Anybody
Super
win in their
football.
box pools? Anybody win?
I won. So we do prop bets here. We do with our family. We just do prop bets. This prop bet sheet, you get like 20 questions or something, and they're all yes, no, or I ended up winning this year, which I never win. So I won the money that I was putting up to the family anyway. So I didn't lose money, which is great.
That's excellent. Lauren won halftime and the third quarter.
Who put that? Who was putting that
in a
pool
pool.
on? Like, was that
Nick
through
was
school?
definitely.
Huh?
Oh,
Me?
Lawrence
Tom.
or Nick's?
No, Lawrence.
Oh, actually, a couple of her friends just posted on Facebook that they had boxes available for their pools, and she just signed up for one $20 box, and bam, she hit it. Bam. I was nowhere near close on any of my boxes for the pool this year. I haven't won a box pool. It has to be at least a decade, at least. So if you
They're
see my
not
name
easy.
on a box pool, don't come anywhere near me.
Or
because
go
if
right
you
next
can
to
do the
it,
four,
'cause,
now even the four corners, I wasn't even near anybody who won. It was in fucking no man's land.
Brutal.
But congratulations to all the Taylor Swifties out there who got their championships.
Oh my God. Good for them. That's how you grow the game. You fix the game so Taylor Swift's team wins.
Most watched game in history, 135 million or something. Is that right?
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody watches the Super Bowl every year. How could there be more people watching?
Because not
'Cause we've been
everybody
doing a lot of
watches the
fucking.
Super Bowl.
Man, Blue Chew is very popular. Yeah. All right, so we got to. What was your favorite commercial? Everybody knows what mine was.
Mm.
What was
Jesus
yours
one,
favorite
we're-
commercials?
We've already discussed that. Yes.
Yeah, over the one there was the one about the feet.
Yes. The Jesus,
Everybody was touching and watching each other's feet.
The Jesus
Oh.
one.
It was a magical commercial. I applaud you, Jesus, for fronting the $2 million for that spot.
I gotta
Bill,
go.
what was your Bill? What was yours? Very
Bud Light,
curious.
man. Bud Light, they just get gayer and gayer. They want, now they want you to have Manning as your best friend. It's they're just going off the gay edge. I love it.
All to say gay?
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to edit that out because I got to edit all this stuff out. So
Well, you just said. What are you doing?
see that? I'm so frazzled. I'm so frazzled.
Actually, I couldn't really even remember. I only remember the Bud Light commercial and the Dunkin' commercial. I mean, god damn, the Dunkin' commercial.
Hilarious, right?
It was good.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Hilarious.
Jesus.
Nick, what was your favorite commercial?
I guess the Christopher Walken, the BMW one, was probably my favorite. I just like Christopher Walken, but honestly, all these commercials were just so over the top. It's so I don't know. Didn't enjoy them. I really didn't enjoy them this year. I felt like they're just don't make any sense. A lot of them, they're just trying to throw a million celebrities in. It's just stupid. I don't know. I didn't like it. I'm gonna be that guy. They sucked.
They did. I agree.
I'm
Steven?
going with the Hellman's commercial. I just thought that was funny with the cat, and the cat said mayo, and then like got famous.
Did I miss that one?
I don't
Apparently.
know. Did you?
Come on, Pete. It was the cat was dating Pete Davidson. I do remember this one.
It had what's her name in it?
Kristen
I'm
Wiig?
not a
Not
no
Kristen Wiig,
the other one. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm not a big fan of hers.
Who's the other one? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that the chick that was in Ghostbusters, the all chick version of Ghostbusters. I forgot her name, but I wasn't very impressed.
Kate McKinnon.
That's
Oh.
the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. You didn't like the Michael Cera one, the Sarah V,
No.
the skin thing. That was good.
No.
I liked that one. That one was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
And then
That's
I'm
all right.
going with the Dove commercial because I think all girls should be able to play sports.
Right.
And the one I hated the most was the Verizon commercial because Verizon doesn't work in my house. How can they pretend that Beyonce can't break the internet?
Can you hear me now?
It's broken in my house.
Can you
That
hear me
was
now?
One of the most cringeworthy, probably most cringeworthy one of a lot of cringy commercials. That's how I'd put it. But that one, the Dunkin' one, they're like the two worst ones to me. They're terrible to me.
The Duncan was a worst one for you? Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
So how about this? Today online, the Dun King tracksuits went on sale for $60 a piece and sold out in minutes.
Are you
Oh,
fucking
Lord.
kidding me? Who in their right mind would wear them?
I would assume just people getting ready for Halloween, in 9 months.
Influencers. Somebody's
Whenever
gonna
everyone-
TikTok those
When
things.
everyone looks at it and goes, "Oh yeah, that was a thing back in February that
Right.
nobody gives a shit about now."
And lest we forget the State Farm commercial with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was a good one.
Anytime you
enjoyed
could
it.
have a twins reunion is a good time.
Always solid.
Okay, sure, but it was a little bit too much drilling that fucking joke into he pronounces things A instead of ER. Okay,
Michael
it lasted
Neighbor.
2 fucking minutes of him just fucking making words like that until they pull in Danny DeVito at the end. Okay,
That was
like,
great.
they could get to the fucking, they could cut to the chase a little quicker.
There
That's
is
the
zero
entire thing.
difference. If
All of
if you replaced Arnold's Mike Francesa and Arnold Schwarzenegger, he would say it the exact same way.
Anybody with that New York accent.
And what Usher halftime show? That was great. He came out in little quad skates, started skating around, almost busted his ass. Nothing. This is where Steve plays crickets.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ludacris showed up. That was
Who's that?
something.
That was the best. But everyone in
Was that with the guy with the big fro?
Yes, that's Ludacris.
Oh, that was him. I got
You
you.
haven't seen
Uh,
you haven't seen Fast and Furious 1 through 14?
Not
You
one
listen to
second
any-
of them.
Really?
music
None
from
of
the
them?
90s?
Not 1 second of the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
Really?
For what?
Don't watch
For
too
what?
many of those.
For what?
The first
What am
one
I gonna watch
wasn't-
it for?
The first one wasn't bad.
First,
Vin Diesel is the worst
And three.
actor in
First
the
and three.
history of
Those two are
acting.
the best.
Okay, the
I'd actually
best
watch.
thing that Vin Diesel has ever acted in is Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what his lines are in Guardians of the Galaxy? I'm Groot. That's it. That's his lines in Guardian of the Galaxy. All of them.
Yeah, but
No, he's
Not a
good
fan
in
of Vin Diesel.
good story. Yeah.
Pitch Black. Pitch Black. Pitch Black. Just
No.
the first
Yeah.
one. That was good.
Terrible.
The other ones are just
Wow.
He's god awful in everything.
That's
Well,
great.
Not a
he
fan of
plays
Vin
Vin
Diesel.
Diesel. He plays Vin Diesel in every movie. It's his only. He can't act. That's
No,
it. He
not
plays
every
himself.
movie. He doesn't play Vin Diesel in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He was
He doesn't-
excellent in the
okay.
Chronicles of Riddick.
He only says, "I am Groot." That's not acting. It doesn't matter how many times you
That's
say it and
my
how different you say
point.
it.
That's my
That
point. It's
was-
the
that
best
is
job
Tom's
he's ever
point.
done.
Again, though, he plays himself in everything, no matter what. Anyway, move on.
Alicia Keys, though, she used to be a really, really good singer, and she just did not sound very good. When she came on, she was like one of the first people to perform with Usher. She sounded awful, and she got thick. She used to be a skinny little thing, and now she's got some.
I mean,
got some,
this is.
she got some
Don't be
curves.
racist.
Kids,
Stop
She
being
got
racist.
some curves.
I feel like this is the
How
we're
is
going
that
to get
being
canceled.
racist?
This is
I
the
mean,
we're
this-
going to get canceled episode.
Yeah.
It's the Jesus watches
We
your
got
feet episode. First off.
Jesus. We got this one talking about Budweiser and the direction they're going with their marketing. We got this one talking about fat shaming people. This is the and you're all saying that the SB.
I'm not that. I'm just saying she got thick. That's it. Last week we talked about the Hoochie Mama and I even forgot her name already. Trey, whatever her name was, the chick in the NHL All-Star game. What was her name?
Tate McRae.
Yeah, that's the one. See how hot she was.
Oh yeah.
She's gonna get thick eventually. I'm sure they all do.
Okay. Next.
But it was a great, and I hope in years to come, all the other super. Was it the best super?
I don't know if it's the best super.
Now-
I mean,
What was your best? I know what mine is. It's hands down. It's not even close.
I hate to say it. I think it's probably the same as yours. When the Giants beat the Patriots and
Yeah,
when the Patriots were undefeated.
So hard to beat that one.
That was great. That was great. I still think 25 was better.
Oh, Finkel, poor Finkel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since I despise the Giants, I'm not picking a Giants game. I'm going to go with the one like the Seahawks one where the guy was about to score at the end of the game.
Oh,
and
against the
got that.
Patriots.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I can't go
That's
with
a
the
good one.
Patriots win though. I
But
can't go with
Yeah,
the
it's
in
Patriots.
terms of game,
It's tough.
not
Yeah.
not the two teams, but in terms of the game itself. If it was just two other teams, it was the best game.
Well, how about the one where like it was like what was it? The Rams.
Shut
and the
up, Bill! I
Titans?
already made my fucking choice.
The Rams and the Titans were like they like
Yeah.
I forget like the Titans were stopped at like a 1 yard line.
1
the
yard
last
line.
play of the game.
1 yard line.
That was the other good one. That was a great super.
Fucking ears clogged.
The tackle. The tackle.
I think that all the super that we just discussed are great in their own right.
Phenomenal Super-
Phenomenal Super Bowl. And this one will be in the conversation of greatest Super. It was a great Super
It is great
Fantastic.
When's the trade deadline?
March
for the
8th.
NHL.
Okay, cool.
Can't come
Anybody you're
quick
looking
enough.
at your team acquiring?
No, but I do want to talk about what everybody's been talking about since it happened, and that is the hit in Ottawa between Riley and what was that guy's name on Ottawa? That
The
fucking
victim.
nobody. Yeah, that guy.
We're gonna
Greg,
just call him
Greg?
the victim.
Victim. He's the victim.
Yes.
I mean, I guess in the technical definition of the term, yes, he is the victim, but he started it.
No, he didn't. You know what?
He
Don't
committed the
let him
crime.
fucking score. Don't let him
He
score. What
committed
does it
the
matter
crime.
how he scores? What does it
I
matter?
don't think he's the victim. I
What
don't
does it
think he's the
matter
victim.
how he scores? What if he backhanded it? Is that against the unwritten rules of hockey?
If he backhanded it, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
What? Well, so what does it make a difference whether he just slides the puck in, he backhands the puck in, or he takes a slap shot just to be a little goof?
Because he scored a goal. Suck it up and fucking move on. But the way he scored the goal by taking a slap shot, he was kind of showboating and
Yeah.
kind of rubbing their noses in it a little bit. And you know what? You're not going to do that. It's like punching somebody on your team and you sticking up for your fucking teammate. This is you sticking up for the crest that's on your fucking shirt.
What about
Yeah, he showed
anytime
him up.
somebody goes a little over the top with their goal celebration when there's a goalie in net?
Case in point, Artem Anisimov did it against Columbus. He did like the fucking gun in the air thing.
Yeah.
And he got fucking tattooed.
Should he have?
It started a brawl.
But should he have?
It's showing up your opponent. Yeah, you should have. 100%.
You don't like it,
I don't understand.
Score.
I don't understand why it, when Solani did it, is it because it was an overtime goal when he did it back in whatever year that was? Or no, he was on the Jets. They didn't make
he was still on
playoffs.
Winnipeg, yeah. He threw his glove up in the air and shot the glove, yeah.
Yeah, is that when he broke the? But why didn't anybody take exception to that? It doesn't
because
happen
it's not a big fucking deal.
It is. You're sticking up for your team. You're sticking up for the team.
It's an emotional game, and if your emotion says that pissed me off and I want to go fucking step up and fight somebody, then I have no problem with that. My problem with that particular play was the way he kind of manifested it by going at a guy who wasn't even defending himself and went right to the head. Like, step up to the guy, and if he's not interested, you in fighting, you can't do what he did. I mean, so I think a long suspension was warranted there. But yeah, I can see you getting emotional.
A long suspension, Bill. What's a long suspension, Bill?
Well, apparently, according to the NHL, 5 games is a long suspension these days. I think it deserved more than that.
And you guys don't think this is at all the same thing as what fucking Dale Hunter did to Pierre Turgeon?
No, I don't think so. No. I think it's a different level of things here.
The concept of the whole thing is the fucking exact same. It doesn't matter if it was a goaltender or not.
So the concept being the same thing, yeah, then if you want to judge it by the concept, but the actual action of, Turgeon not even looking in Hunter's direction, like it was completely from behind.
Yeah.
And that's all the difference that you need.
And it was a normal goal. He scored it, and the game is basically over, and he just takes a shot at Turgeon. And, if you don't see a hit coming, that's usually when you could get the most hurt. You're not prepared for it. And that's what happens with that play. And then this one, Reilly yells at Greg. He's like, they're talking to him, and then he hits him. Now, should he cross him in the face? Probably not, obviously. But he's prepared for the hit. He sees the guy coming. He's bracing for it. It's more of an intent thing at that point, and obviously it's sending a message, right? Or sending a message, you don't do that, Rook.
Cry baby sour grapes is what it is.
I disagree. That's sour grapes.
Sour grapes. Yeah. I don't know about that.
Listen, we had stuff like that happen when I played hockey, in some of those playing kids, which when I say this, and I was late 20s playing 18-year-olds, and then they were destroying us. I basically would hook people down and while playing defense and just be like, you're not scoring anymore. You're up 4 or 5 goals. I don't care if it gets a penalty. I'm just gonna stop letting you score goals because you're gonna stick a handle around me and make us look bad. Taking shots and trying to get all close and put between the legs and shit. And I'm like, all right, I'm taking you down. Don't. And I would yell at the guys, and they'd be like, well, I don't understand. I'd be like, it's part of the game. I didn't say it as articulate as that, obviously. It was more like, you're a fucking dick, But that's the shit that pissed me off always, was not having awareness that hey, the game's over. You don't need to rub it in the face of somebody on the other team. They know the game's over. You're just playing it out. You can't just end the game. There's no mercy rule.
Yeah.
And in that case, all you gotta do is tip it in. No one's gonna take a shot slap shot like that. If he doesn't realize that was sending a message to their team, he is tone deaf, right?
He's got to
have to realize what you're doing.
He's got to expect a reaction if he's gonna do a douchey thing like that.
Yeah, and in a few years, he'll probably, maybe less than that. He'll understand, and he'll be like, you know what, I was definitely wrong in that scenario. I should not have done that, because he'll be around in the league long enough that he'll be on the opposite side. It's just how you mature. You start to notice things around you and how people do things, and it's gonna embarrass him when someone does that shit in a game, and he's probably on the opposite side and try to nail the person or get in their face and be like, some irony there for you, but it'll happen. Watch.
The Morgan Reilly gets 5 games suspension.
Yes.
I think it was like $192,000 in salary that he loses. But the worst thing about this is the next Maple Leaf Senator game is not until next season. That was the last game of the season between the two teams.
Good job. I mean, they couldn't figure that out. They couldn't plan that out, obviously. But
No, I was just saying. I intentionally
Yeah.
went on the Leaf schedule to see if they were playing again because I would have definitely circled on my calendar to watch that game because there would have been a
Right.
brawl throughout the
It'd be a
entire
ratings
game.
boost. It'd be a ratings
no
boost
doubt.
for sure.
You never know. I mean, the Senators are only 16 points out of the playoffs right now.
Listen, the Senators
Yeah.
are a bus on the road to summer already. Okay, and it's not even Valentine's Day. So yay, good for you. All right, let's take a ride in the metro. Sponsored by Rich Wholesome Nestle Quick.
Hello, boys and girls. Do you hate the taste of regular milk and need energy? Try Nestle Quick. One sip and you can feel the energy in your muscles. Nestle Quick, now available in chocolate and strawberry.
They say the real men drink pink. Then I'm a real man for sure. But if you like the brown, I still love you for who you are. Because it's time for acceptance of everyone, all preference. We're all quick on the inside anyway. Nestle Quick, it does the trick.
And Bill, we'll start with the Penguins.
Sure. Yeah, and it's short. A couple games, couple losses to Minnesota and their old friend Marc-Andre Fleury. That game, they actually got kind of screwed in that game. It could have been like a shitty call scenario, but the Penguins, the go-ahead goal went off the net before it went into the net. Went off the netting outside of play, and play should have been stopped. And in addition to that, when the Penguins had a power play opportunity, I forget if it was in the first or second period, the horn at Minnesota's arena went off twice to stop play in the middle of the Penguins' power play, and it's nobody could come up with an explanation for it. But it just the Penguins, at one of those junctures had offensive zone attack time interrupted when that happened. The other time they were retrieving the puck in their own end. But it's just a lot of weird shit happened in that game, and I'm not blaming the refs for that. They were listless, and they were listless last week, and they can't really afford, obviously, to have a 2-game stretch where they come up with 0 points. They're like 7 points out of it now, out of the last playoff spot. The writing's very clearly on the wall with them, and I think it's very realistic that they're going to start, looking at people who are shopping for Gensel and for other guys, and there would be no reason for them to say no. We're going to hold on to our guys and try to make a push. The notion that they can get back into this playoff race would mean that they would need to have like a 9 out of 10 run, like where they went 9 out of 10 or like 17 out of 20 or something ridiculous to not only make up those points but to climb past the 5 teams that are in between them in the playoffs. It's not going to happen. So it's just time to start shopping for draft picks and prospects. That's it for the Penguins.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Nick, Islanders.
Well, this is probably the least amount of times I'll talk, or least amount of time I'll talk on the Isles in a week. This is really a short kind of week for us. 2 games, and then they're playing right now against Seattle. Tie 1-1 in the third. But Isles went 1-1 this past week, winning 6-2 against the Lightning. A really kind of complete game. I looked excellent in the in the full game. Barzy and Pulak, Horvat had a goal and assist each. We got goal. It was really not a. It was not that close. I mean, it got 3-2 in the second, but all the goal scoring happened in the second. Isles poured on 3 more goals. Just played an excellent game all around. Kind of always nice to see them beat the Lightning, just because of the years we lost to them in the conference finals. Moving on to the game on Sunday or Saturday home. The second game of the 3-game home stretch. Isles lost 5-2 to Calgary in a game they really should have beaten them. Calgary's not really going to be in the playoffs. They're not really doing. They're selling already. They had a big, trade with Lindholm. If I remember correctly, it's Lindholm, right? Lindholm. They traded Lindholm.
Yep.
Oh, Monahan. They traded Monahan.
Oh no, Monahan was on Montreal.
Montreal. Was Monahan was on Calgary before though? Am I crazy?
Yes. Yeah, and
he was. That's why I got confused.
They paid Montreal a first-round pick to take Monahan, and then they traded him for a first-round pick.
Pick. What a fucking move that was.
Fuck off, Montreal.
Anyway, Calgary.
No. Hold on. You can never say that about Montreal ever. You guys fucking fleeced them. So you can never say something like that.
We didn't fleece anybody. They took what they thought was going to be their savior in Scott Gomez, and we got a good young player out of it, Ryan McDonough.
Okay, it's an okay trade.
I won't stand for that shit.
Anyway, Isles were out of this game quickly. It was down. They were down 3-0, going to third. Just never really got back to it. What was interesting in this game was I think Roy pulled the goalie. With like 5 minutes left in the game. We're down 3-1. And I don't remember exactly the time, but it was like maybe 14 minutes into the game. So like 6 minutes left in the game. I think it was around that amount of time, around there. Calgary scored a goal, and we didn't put the goalie back in. And basically it was like 6 minutes of like empty net.
Let's try it again.
So Pajot scored a goal to make it 4-2 with like 2.5 minutes left, and then Uyghur got his third, got the hat trick. Uyghur's a defenseman, if I remember correctly, and I don't say it completely dumb.
Yes, he is.
He's a defenseman.
He is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So great timing to see that happen. He gets his first career hat trick, which 6 minutes, got him out there as much as they could to get that hat trick. He got it finally. Anyway, this game was not a great game for the Isles. They outshot Calgary. They should have played better, but man, it just did. The results weren't there. But the overall package of the teams, they've been playing better under Roy, for sure. He's holding them accountable, definitely on their case, and that's already been kind of the thing. Like they had a real hard practice, like right after, and Roy's been really after this game, Calgary, and really trying to make sure that they're going to stay sharp, which we'll see how it goes. These kind of coaches, when they're harder on players, sometimes they can lose the locker room a little bit, or time with that kind of message, and just like consistently making them work really, really hard in practices all the time, if things aren't going well. So we'll see how it kind of goes. Again, like I mentioned, this game is 1-1, real close game, but Seattle's just like the Isles and similar point wise in spot in the season. So this is a game they have to win, especially at home, and hope they can make that happen. But Cizikas back in the lineup. Everyone's kind of healthy, I think, now. I don't think anybody was out. Romanov was game time decision. I think, he's in tonight. Pretty sure he's in tonight. Didn't see him, but yeah, he's in. So anyway, long story short, everyone's back to normal, healthy. So we'll be nice to see if we can keep this kind of everyone upright for the next few weeks. Isles have been kind of snake bit quite a bit this year with defensemen being out, and it'd be nice to see a stretch where everyone's healthy. So this week, obviously, we have tonight's game, and then 4 days off until the game on Sunday, which is against the Rangers outdoors. And we'll see how that goes.
Steven, Devils.
Bit of an up and down week, more up than down this week. A huge 5-3 victory versus Colorado last week. Heischer and Luke Hughes, totally shut down Nate McKinnon, which was really great to see. Yet another come from behind win, giving up the first goal. They were up 3-1 going into the third and allowed Colorado to come back to tie it. Thanks to a Marino goal late in the game, they went ahead and then scored an empty netter to win 5-3. They followed that up with a bit of a clunker versus Calgary. Just a poor effort all around. Vanacek totally outplayed by Markstrom in that game. Power play issues continue to rear their ugly head. 0 for 2 in the game, 2 for 34 since Jack Hughes went down on January 3rd. But one thing that everyone noticed was Holtz playing on the first line in this one, possibly as a showcase, as a way to showcase him, as he might be a valuable commodity when the trade deadline comes. They followed that game up with a 1-0 overtime loss to Carolina. Both goaltenders were stellar in this game. Again, Devils 0 for 4. Aho with the winner in overtime, and he even had to knock it in out of midair. So, I mean, it was just a very tightly contested game all around. And they followed that up finally last night with a 3-1 victory against Seattle. Another 60-minute effort, very solid defense. If you combine the Carolina game and the Seattle game, it was like 120 minutes plus of very good defensive coverage, only 2 goals allowed. Power play finally scored a goal the first time since January 17th. And Jack's got a trademark goal, I guess, huh? Coming down the boards, get to the goal line and bank it in off the goalie's head. That's apparently the 4th time he's done that in his short career. So it's not like it's a fluke. It's something he's planning on doing. So I'm sure goalies are going to be a little bit more ready for that in the future. Dawes was very solid in net. In terms of some roster news, they get a little bit healthier with the return of Jack and Tomasz Nosek and Brendan Smith tonight. Unfortunately, Brendan Smith's return means Santeri Hatakka gets sent down as he's the only waiver-eligible defenseman, but he was playing really good. He's exactly the player that this team needs, just a very solid defensive defenseman. So I definitely...
That's great. He'll be good in Utica then.
I look forward to his career with the Devils once there's room for him to play. It leaves only Hamilton, Jonas Siegenthaler, and Nolan Foote on the injured list. No timetables for any of those. But really, some of the big news that came out this week was the Markstrom, the Markstrom trade that didn't happen. Apparently, he agreed to waive his no trade clause. He's got a full no trade clause, and he agreed to waive it to come to New Jersey. And apparently, they had compensation in terms of draft and in terms of players and picks agreed. It was all held up because Calgary didn't want to retain any salary that New Jersey was asking them to retain. And I don't understand that at all. We got the room this year with Hamilton on long-term injured reserve.
You have the room next year too.
You can make the room, and he's under contract for 2 more years.
Yeah,
and between
at $6 million.
And between Schmid or Dawes, whichever you pick to be the backup, what are you going to be spending in the goalie position? $8 million total? I mean, it's exactly what the team needs at this point. It's exactly what they need. Vitek Vanacek ranks 89th out of 91 goalies that have played in the NHL this year, and yet he still has a 17-9-2 record. I can't imagine what this team's record would be if they had goalies that played even NHL average. So we'll see if that happens, or if they go with an Elvis Merzlikins, try and catch lightning in a bottle there, if they can get him for less. This week ahead, they got the game right now versus Nashville in Nashville. Back home on Thursday versus LA. And then Saturday Stadium Series game versus the Philadelphia Criers.
I like that.
I don't understand. I really
right.
don't.
It's mind-boggling. Nobody understands.
You're gonna get Merzlikins instead of Markstrom.
Tom Fitzgerald is the only one that understands what's going on.
You're right. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's not allowed to spend the full cap. I don't know.
No, they're close enough as it is. I couldn't see that.
I get. I'm pulling at straws here.
The
I
owner
don't
just
get
bought the fucking Washington Commanders. He's got the money.
We all saw Markstrom play this week.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! Thank God he's not going to the Devils. Thank God. Great job, Tom Fitzgerald. You're my GM of the year.
It's not done until it's done.
Oh, I can't wait till Merzlikins the Devil, and we're having the same conversation.
Oh, fuck you.
Now let's turn to your first place, New York Rangers.
Okay, terrific.
It was a 3-0 week for your heroes.
I suck.
Starting out last Wednesday against the Tampa Bay. Nick's face was worth the price of admission.
We really should be able to beat him.
Jonathan Quick played a really good game against the Lightning, and a lot of depth scoring in that game with VZ and Brodzinski getting goals in that game. But the incident with Sergachev pissed off a lot of Tampa Bay players. But listen, that's kind of a freak thing to me. When Lafreniere was bracing himself or becoming the hitter instead of the hit E, and putting Sergachev down, and he just felt awkward. So I don't really know what to say there to all you Tampa fans. But what are you gonna do?
I don't think you got to worry about that.
What are you gonna do? No, I really don't care. I'll wear my Lafreniere shirt out in public, right down the streets of Tampa.
They're not.
But no, they're definitely not. 3-1 win for the Rangers over the Lightning, and then they go out to Chicago, where they have to play the hapless Chicago Blackhawks, and they just let the Blackhawks seat back in this game. Rangers are up 3-1 and playing a pretty decent game. And then the third period, the Blackhawks come and tie the game at 3 on goals that were not necessarily Igor's fault. There was a defensive breakdowns and a seeing eye shot that got past him. And look, for as much shit as I gave Igor last week, is probably as much praise as I'm going to give him this week. He played a pretty decent game in Chicago of coming back, and that first game back, I'm sure there was a little bit of nerves. And I thought it was a good spot for Laviolette to get him back in there against the Blackhawks to get his feet at least wet. Zibanejad does score the overtime winner in that game, and that becomes the franchise leader in overtime goals. And then they played the Calgary Flames last night, and this one was just a defensive battle. There was hitting, there was good, solid goaltending play, and almost a goalie goal in the game. I would rather not Igor take the chance when it's still 1-0 and you give an icing, but it was definitely a chance worth taking nonetheless. Will Cooley gets the goal to make it 1-0, and Jimmy Vesey gets the empty net goal to give the Rangers a 2-0 win over the Calgary Flames, and gives Igor his first shutout of the season, and he was solid in this game. He needs to build off of this, and whether he plays Thursday night, but he'll definitely be in there on Sunday against the Islanders. Again, and I don't know how much we talked about this, Nick, actually on the podcast, but this is the first Ranger Islander game since December of 2022. How the fuck? It's mind-boggling. No Ranger Islander game in the calendar year 2023. Unbelievable.
Nope. We talked about it last week, and it's just crazy.
It's unbelievable. But the Rangers power play, Laviolette had changed up some lines, and the Rangers started with those against Calgary in the first and second period. And I thought the Rangers power play couldn't get any worse until I saw those lines. Not just the lines, it's the way that they attacked and the way they tried to set up. They were just completely out of sync. By the third period, the lines were back to where they were. And they looked better, but did they look better on the power play because the other lines looked like absolute garbage? or was there just a little bit of urgency going for the Rangers? I'm thinking it was the other lines look like absolute dog shit. But something's got to be done. Listen, you're 0 for 2024 on the power play, so something's going to have to give when it comes to the talent that's on that power play. Eventually, they will snap out of whatever funk they're in on the power play, and then they'll just be power plays galore, hopefully in the second half of the year. Interesting note, after last night's game, the Rangers have 5 games remaining this season outside against teams outside of the Eastern Conference. Thought that was very interesting. They got Thursday night at home against Montreal.
What's that interesting to?
Me. Thursday night home against the Montreal Canadiens, and then Sunday afternoon Stadium Series against the Islanders before playing another home game as we record next Tuesday night against the Dallas Stars.
Well, that's one of the Western Conference teams.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, then there's
I find
only
that
4
very
more.
interesting.
One of the 5. One of the 5.
Wow.
That's very interesting.
I know. I thought so.
And now it's time for an interesting episode of Trivia with Bill.
Wow.
Now this is the wrong Bill.
I love this question. This is like the questions to me. All right. So, what curse was blamed for the New York Rangers Stanley Cup championship drought from 1940 through 1994?
The curse was fuck.
Oh, we were looking for a swear word curse. It's like a curse, like
it was the curse of the Bambino.
No.
Whoa.
Cocksucker.
Was it the curse of?
These 7 dirty words. We're not allowed to say these things on the air. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Was it curse of sucking?
It's probably more accurate.
Wait, I need to ask you a question. Are they looking? Did this have a name? Are they looking for a name for the curse? It had a name. I had no idea it had a name.
Yeah. I didn't either. I didn't remember this. They're grasping at straws on this one, really.
Was it the curse of Molly Ringwald?
No. Why would she curse the Rangers?
I don't know.
Why would you want to do that?
Is it the curse of Molly Ringworm?
No.
Can I give you a Molly?
It could help my cough.
It might, actually. You won't know anything that happened to you after that.
Drugs are banned.
Banned.
I don't even know why to call them roofies. They should call them flories. Because you're more likely to wind up on the floor.
Is that like one of them Southern, like you might be a redneck people that made that joke or something?
No, that was from Hangover.
Well, I know, but you definitely.
Well,
No, you sound like somebody who we need to invite back on the show.
I don't do impressions.
I miss Randy.
No.
Maybe we'll get Randy on the show very soon.
Nope. So let's the
very,
curse
very soon.
of
I want to see his reaction to this. Actually, we'd love to hear Randy's reactions.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Wait, they burned. Wait, wait, Steve is right. It wasn't the curse of MSG?
No.
Well, they burned mortgage papers from the garden in the cup, and that was the fucking curse.
Yeah, and somehow it had a name. Yeah.
The curse of the notary public. I feel like that's important.
I'm sure it would have had to get notarized.
Real estate stuff.
The curse of Lester Patrick.
No, why would he curse them?
I know, because he wasn't he GM at the time?
Do we want to do multiple choices?
But whatever the correct answer is, it's wrong because Steve was already correct.
I feel like
Anyway,
I should be
sure.
I mean, somebody said Babe Ruth, but maybe Nanette. Should we say that? Is it to just get that
completely
out
separate sport curse?
Okay. All right. So multiple choice. Since Nick doesn't want to play along at all, let's just go to the multiple choice.
I give answers.
Why did I go after Nick?
It's the curse of Cody Rhodes.
A.
How's that? For all you wrestling fans.
Simpsons
I like
curse.
it. I like it.
Ooh,
Which
Bart.
I really feel like Nicole Brown
Was it
was
OJ?
the-
Wait, yeah,
Was it
exactly.
OJ?
No,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was OJ,
Um,
the curse of the
Howard
OJ.
cartoons.
That's the Knicks curse, actually. The curse of OJ.
Oh, couldn't even get full
And-
media attention that night.
and B, Chapman's curse. C, Gorman's
Rex Chapman?
curse. Or D,
Oh,
Dutton's curse.
let's see. Curse,
No,
yeah.
it's not.
That was the guy. That was the guy.
It wasn't Gorman, no.
Was it Sutton?
Oh, Sutton was not a choice. I had
Oh,
one that rhymed with that.
What was
Dutton?
that one?
Isn't it Dutton?
Dutton?
Is
Dutton. It was
Dutton?
Dutton. Nick got it.
See, I'm listening. I'm paying
Dutton's
attention to the
curse.
team in overtime.
I had no idea that was the name
Does
of
it
the curse.
does it give any further explanation?
No, but I was looking at the
Why
I went above and beyond and did that research. And he was
This
like
guy.
the
Wow.
GM or shit of like the New York Americans, the original like who was like the first hockey team in New York, and apparently he was cursing them or whatever. And I don't know why that tied into the whole burning the mortgage in the cup thing, but it's all convoluted and stupid. And I don't ever remember talking about Dutton's curse when
I don't even remember. I don't even know that. I
the
didn't even
Rangers
know
were in
that
that
name.
drought.
No, I never heard that. The only thing I heard was 1940.
Yeah.
How many more fucking questions in this stupid fucking book?
Just a few. Just a few.
Thank
Six,
God.
like six.
Maybe. Yeah,
Thank
about
God.
6.
All right, now money talks with Nick.
Money, it's a gas. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash. New plug, give a fuck, G and daydream. Think I'll buy me a hockey team.
Oh, this game's in overtime. That sucks. I'm gonna have to stop paying attention to it. All right. Let's see. So
I'll pay attention for you, Nick.
so I did some research today. I was looking at
That makes one of us.
put together a nice little spreadsheet here.
Whoa,
So we're getting close.
whoa.
We're getting,
Spreadsheet?
yeah, you want to see it? Should I join the
Wow,
Zoom?
no.
Show you?
Oh.
No? Okay. No.
Well, Billy, that's like porn to Billy, maybe. I don't know.
So anyway, I was reading some, quick things about the trade rumors coming up, trade deadline, who's going to be movers, who's going to be, buying, selling, and there was some talk even that some teams like Philadelphia may actually be selling because they're, kind of playing above where they were expected to be. They're kind of in a rebuild. Maybe they, even in their position they're in, maybe they'll sell. And so I decided to look at kind of like a few things. One, obviously standings, where everybody is, their normal, where everything we see normally. But then I added into that mix of the data was basically how many first, second, and third round picks they have in the next 3 years, their kind of rankings, their average rankings of their prospect pools, and current cap space and average, some of their average age of teams to kind of give like a look and like seeing what kind of like.
Oh, you
what looks
fucking
interesting.
Billy Bean? What the fuck? How did you have
So I
time to do all this?
I did this in like a half hour. This is what I do
Holy
normally.
This
shit.
my computer program does all this for me.
I don't know. I don't do that. I did it all myself.
You're a
Anyway.
Nick, you're a fucking nerd, you know
This
that?
motherfucker's probably got
I don't
pivot
know.
tables going on.
You're a fucking
I have a
nerd.
pivot table. You want to see my pivot
course.
table? Look. I'll
No.
show you my pivot
Whoa,
table.
pal.
Whoa.
Keep that in your pants, pal.
Look, right there. This is the
Oh,
setup.
I love that.
This is the setup right here, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
My
Look at
God.
those.
Highlighting? Nick, did you
Oh,
highlight
cool.
on the screen? Like, did you use a highlighter?
Yes, an actual highlighter, you dummy. I'll get back to this thing now. There we go.
Sorry. Okay.
Now you're good. Anyway,
Lashes are
so
when they go down on him.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
I liked
So
it better
this-
when Nick was telling us how to work Zoom.
So it's interesting. The things that I wanted to talk through. So at the top of the list, I kind of sorted this by like a quick formula I put together just for like looking at their prospects and picks and everything, kind of like giving like an idea of like, all right, Arizona is at the top of the list. They have about like an average around 7 on prospect pool, out of 32, and then they have 3 first rounders, which is normal. But here's the crazy shit: they have 10 second rounders in the next 3 years, and 7 third round picks in the next 3 years, and that's a lot of draft capital. Like I mean, we know, and they had like a bunch last year. I'm sure I can't remember the number, but they're just stockpiling all these picks up, and so they, along with their already pretty strong prospect pool they have, they're definitely sellers on the one end of the side of this fence, right? So like obviously you got Arizona, Chicago, Montreal, San Jose, those teams that are basically bottom feeders. They're the ones that have the most they're all in the top 10 of prospect pools, have the most picks, obvious ones. What's interesting is something like Nashville. Nashville, they're about 5th in my little rankings here, and they have the 10th ranked prospect pool, 4 first rounders, 5 seconds, and 4 thirds in the next 3 years. So that's significant amount of draft capital that Barry Trotz has got going for him. Obviously a very good prospect pool still, top third of the league. They have 23 million in current cap space, and they're pretty much like right there in the race. They're not
2 points
out of it.
2 points. 2 points.
So where does a team like Nashville fit in this? Do they, I mean, this is a strange one. They could continue to like get rid of guys, but like it's not really. I mean, they already have a shit ton of picks. So do you go? What do we do with this cap space? That's a lot of cap space that you have to do it. That they're one of the top 4. There's only 4 teams that have anywhere in the 20s in terms of cap space right now. So it's a pretty interesting look to see what's Nashville going to do. My feeling is they'll probably stay put, maybe in, unless they're going to have someone in the in UFAs. I didn't really look at their UFAs and have time to do to that part of it, but that's a really interesting spot they're in. On the other end, you got Ottawa Senators. Ottawa, as we know, has haven't been the best team franchise in the last few years. They are not only do they have under $1 million in cap space, they also have the 32nd, 31st, depending who you talk to, in terms of prospect pool with the Isles. So they're pretty much dead last in the NHL prospect pool. They have a few picks. Like they only have 3 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. So it's under the average of what you'd want. And they're basically bottom feeders. So how is they're definitely going to be sellers, you imagine. But if you're already one of the youngest teams in the league at 26.2 average of their age of their team, and you don't have a lot of picks to throw around, I mean, I don't know, man. They're going to have to sell pretty hard to really scale back up to get into that range. You figure they're probably the team that's gonna be the ones that are gonna sell. But then you got Pittsburgh, another team that's really interesting. Billy's talked about them quite a bit. They've got one of the one of the worst prospect pools, just like the Isles. Only a couple 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 3 thirds. Their average age is 30.3. I think they're the oldest in the league. And are they going to buy? I mean, they're a team that's pretty much on the cusp or right in that area where they're probably not comfortable trading anything else, but they're a roster full of crazy, all these older guys that want to win now. So, I mean, it's really interesting to see where they're going to go with this. But the big teams that, like I said, I think that are going to be really interesting to watch. Nashville, I didn't mention it now, but Minnesota, St. Louis, and Philly. Those are the teams that have the highest amount of kind of draft capital and prospects, but they're also kind of in betweens. We don't know where they're going to go, if they're going to go and push all in. Minnesota's kind of like just over 500, and they probably are maybe farther out, but you never know with these type of teams. They could just make a run for it. And especially someone like Minnesota, where they're like the 5th best prospect pool. Really interesting to watch what they do. And then on the other end, you have the teams like Buffalo Sabres, who still have a very high prospect pool still. Everybody looks at them, $23 million in current cap space, but they've been underachieving. So maybe we look at that team and we say, maybe they're not underachieving. Maybe they're just too young and they're not experienced enough. Still one of the youngest teams in the league. They haven't really hit their stride yet, but maybe that's a team that's finally gonna, buy a couple pieces and maybe get there. But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to watch. So anyway, the whole point of this whole exercise was like a first kind of like draft and look at this in terms of like where teams are going to be. And I think next week I'm going to probably build on this and look a little more in depth on a few teams before the draft. The trade deadline is coming up soon, but there could be some moves. I think you're going to see a couple moves this week potentially. Some other teams trying to get ahead of some of the other teams. Maybe Lou likes to go early if he's going to make a move. I'm pretty fucking sure he's going to trade a first round pick, because he loves to do that. But
then he won't be invited to the Sphere.
I don't think he can stay up late enough to.
He won't be invited to the Sphere. The Nashville is interesting because, especially with their goaltending situation, I mean, they got a goalie that can get a nice return in Saros, and they got Askarov ready to go. I mean, they're not going to miss a beat. So that's just going to help either deepen their prospect pool or their pick list or get an NHL ready player in return.
Yep. And they have a lot of UFAs next year. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for them. They may just be kind of similarly loading up for more of a move, bigger, looking for a guy maybe go into UFA, like some of the guys we talked about in previous weeks.
Listen, St. Louis's second wild card, and LA just got smoked by Buffalo tonight, 7-0. Right, so they'll probably fall out. Nashville can sneak right in tonight with a win over the Devils.
Well, it's tied, so that might not happen.
Well, you're right; it may not happen. But Nick, your point on the Buffalo Sabres, I got to tell you, I wasn't thinking about that all that much. They're a really good, young, talented team. They don't have any veterans. They don't have any guys that have won there before. And I get there's something to be said about your young core developing and winning something. But if you gave it a couple of years and they're not winning, you got to change your mentality a little bit and get guys in place who have won. And their oldest guy is Kyle Pozo, who's a fucking dinosaur. And then you got Joel Skinner, who really hasn't won anything, and he's a young guy himself. What? So
Alex
Jeff Skinner, right? Jeff Skinner. Joel. Let's say Joel Skinner. Joel Skinner was an old fucking catcher for the Cleveland Indians. Was he even on my mind? He
was a baseball player, right?
Yeah, he was a baseball player.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Joel Skinner. Good Lord. Oh, you're right, Alex. But that's three guys. One is way past his prime. Another has got a ridiculous contract, and Tucker's a really good player. So I think you're right. I think they just need some guys, some veterans in there who've won before, or at least know how to win.
Yeah, because and not just know how to win, but go get guys that can play. Like, they probably would have been great if they went and got Horvat, because he's a guy, he's a number one center in his prime. Now, when you got look, I love Kyle, but he's 35 and he was never a great player unless he was playing with Tavares and sometimes he played with Franzi and Bailey, but he was good. He had a couple of years he was really, really strong, but we're talking is he an all-star or not an all-star? That's not a very good place to be. And yes, he's had a solid career, been very, very consistent, but I mean, he never won anything with the Isles. Obviously, he's never won anything with Buffalo. It's him. You got Jeff Skinner, who's never won shit. You got Eric Johnson. I mean, he's 35. He's not gonna wow you anything, and so I think they just need to, once they've moved obviously the guy out to Vegas. My brain's gonna stop working for a second.
Eichel.
Eichel. Eichel was the guy that they wanted him to be, and they had a messy divorce with. But man, if they had him right now, maybe he would help with that culture. But I think they really need to figure out a couple guys to bring in that are in their prime, and they can start showing that winning culture, because You're going to be wasting a lot of these guys' young careers here and all their cheap years. I don't know what they're going to do with when those guys all need new contracts and they haven't won shit and don't know how to win. So it'll be interesting to watch what they do.
Another good one.
Solid. All right, let's go to this date in Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Right here, we're saving calories. Round here, we all look so lean. Round here, we enjoy Coke Zero, but sacrifice flavor, no. Round here, Coke Zero's the way to go.
This one is going to. Oh wait, I just had the article. What the fuck is it?
2018.
2018. Literally just fucking had it. Ah, here it is. I found it. Please go to July 23rd, 2018.
It was a Monday.
Monday.
Granola bar and Coke Zero can for breakfast. Lunch was a chicken, ham, and Swiss cheese with pickles sandwich, also known as anyone? Cuban.
Soup.
With a Coke Zero 20-ounce. Dinner was some ribs on the grill and a Coke Zero can with a baked potato on the side. Tom, why did you pick Monday, July 23rd in the year 2000?
How much for one rib? How much for one rib? Obviously, that was the day that a naked man was arrested at Planet Fitness. And he said he thought it was a judgment-free zone. So a Massachusetts man apparently learned the hard way that a judgment-free zone, that the judgment-free zone philosophy at Planet Fitness only goes so far. Police say 34-year-old Eric Stagno was walking around naked at the Plainstow gym before settling in on the yoga mats. Officer arrived at Planet Fitness to find him nude on his knees in a yoga-type position. The Haverhill man was arrested without incident and charged with indecent exposure and lewd and disorderly conduct. The only statement that was made was that he thought it was a judgment-free zone, apparently referencing the chain's slogan. Gym goers who saw Stagno's naked exercise reportedly felt disgusted, sick, and unsafe. Stagno was released at $1,000 bail and is due in the circuit court on September 21st. And that's what happened July 23rd, 2018.
Time's a creep. Time is a weirdo. Where does he come up with this shit? It's so disgusting.
You know, this is wrong on all accounts. This guy is not the most attractive human on earth. But if this was if this was a hot chick doing naked yoga on a mat, there would no be police calling. There would no be $1,000 fine or being arrested.
Well,
there would just be lots of cell phone video of that.
Other women in the gym would call the police.
Yeah, I think they're still.
Why? Because they're jealous?
Yes, for
this
sure.
Is that is Mr. Stagno.
Oh my God!
By the way,
I think he's in one of Billy's bands.
Ooh, drummer.
He looks like Jesus.
He's in Mr. Big.
He does look like Jesus slightly.
Yeah,
he does look
watch your
like
feet.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's got all those commercials going on in the Super.
This was not necessary.
I made these chopped
Oh my God
sliders Like, they were fucking delicious. It was the simplest thing in the world. Fucking little 80-20, brown it all up.
Guy acts like nobody's ever
Little
fucking made
onions.
cheeseburgers before.
What the hell's an
A little
80-20?
80-20 meat. 80, 20, 20% fat.
20% fat.
Yeah.
Yep.
This guy's acting like he cracked the fucking code that greasy cheeseburgers are delicious.
It was fucking amazing. It was so good.
Nobody ever brings up their snacks and goes, "Yeah, it really didn't work out well. It just was disgusting."
I've been there quite a few times.
But
But you gotta try. You gotta try.
I know you've been there, but like you don't bring them up to everybody. Like, oh, I made these things.
Listen,
yeah, they sucked.
The next time I dump out pasta water, I will make sure that I bring it up on this program.
They were talking about hamburgers. I don't want a hamburger.
Oh, they were great. The little fucking cheeseburger. Oh, fucking delicious. Fucking sliders. I have 2 left. I'm gonna go fucking eat one right now. God damn. Fucking delicious.
Well, did he come or what?
Oh, the guy playing. No,
yeah, he probably did.
The guy didn't. All the onlookers came.
I don't really understand feeling unsafe. Like I could see the disgusted part, but like, why would you feel unsafe if somebody was naked in the gym? Like, I feel less threatened by a naked guy in the gym than the guy who's clothed. Like, if he's gonna start shit with me, it's easy to go after sensitive shit than if he's undressed than if he's dressed.
Wait, you wouldn't go after it if he was dressed? You'd only go after it if he was undressed? You're like those fucking Bud Light commercials.
He's
Bill.
more exposed.
Literally. You know he's not concealing a weapon.
True. There you go.
Now, I'm with Tom though. If it was a pretty woman, you know, odds are there would have been more leniency.
A lot more. Nick, I was kind of hoping you'd bring up the Caps and the whole money talks tonight, and what is their situation. I'm very curious of them because they're definitely gonna be sellers. I don't know what they could sell, but they're gonna definitely be sellers.
I had them in the kind of just unknown because they have capital, draft capital. They're like right in the middle of everything. They have like a little bit above average in terms of picks. They have an extra second, extra third. But they have all their firsts and everything. Their prospect pool is like right in the middle. But the problem is
they're 52 games played and at 54 points.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I just don't see it for them this year.
They're one of the oldest teams in the league. 29.2 average. I think that's second if I sort on that. But yeah, it's let's see, sort by age. Yeah, they're third oldest. Pittsburgh, Edmonton, and Washington in that order. But they also have a lot of cap space. I think that's because of LTIR. I look at the data there.
Yeah, with Backstrom. Yeah, Backstrom is definitely
yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah, Washington. Yeah, they got LTIR. They got a couple injuries, but yeah, his is pretty bad. But I mean, I don't know. They're really hard to understand because like Ovi usually comes on the second half. He's usually a bit slow if he's he's starting to score goals again. But I don't know. That team's an old team. I don't think they have the legs to really make a push. But what do you do? I mean, realistically, you should probably start to dismantle that team and try to get some guys around, some pieces for Ovi, younger pieces to get him to another 60 goals he needs, I think.
Well, do you say that about the Penguins though too? I mean, Bill, I know I've been harping on this for the past 2 years, but when does the dismantling of the Penguins core actually happen? Is Dubas the guy to do it?
I think it should be now. I mean, I think it's like his last season they were right out there on the cusp of the playoffs, and they we remember they missed by a point. They're not going to miss by a point this season. They're well out of it, and now is the time to have those tough conversations with these players. Like, hey, the championship's not coming. This is the reality. If you don't want to be in for the rebuild, then this is the road we're going down. So I think yeah, it's definitely time. Gensel is obviously an easy one with the expiring contract to talk about trading, but you also got to start talking to those core guys too to see if anybody's willing to move. And
You're
if they
talking about
if they're
restocking
inspired,
your
if they want to go
cupboards
somewhere
quick.
where they're going to win.
Yeah, you're gonna restock your cupboards real quick.
Crosby might not be one that's interested in going. I couldn't really say for him, but like, what about Malkin, Letang, Carlson? You know, have the conversation with these guys. You guys want to win again, or do you want to go down with this ship? You know.
But obviously, you'd get probably the most for Crosby. You'd get even at however old he is, he's still going to get a fucking haul for him at his age.
And as a fan, I'd like to see him go try to win somewhere else.
I would agree.
Like to see it.
He wants him to go to Boston. That's where he wants him to go.
But if he gets traded, he was drafted to save Pittsburgh, quote unquote, and he could be traded to save Pittsburgh just as much, especially at the tail end of his career. So if he wants to save the franchise, get traded.
And he's got
the fucking young assets.
Another year on his contract. He can go somewhere, make a push this year, next year, whatever. He could always come back. He would always be welcome back to re-sign when he's a free agent.
Of course. It makes the most sense to trade him. It'd be a huge shocker if he got traded this year, because he's got one more year and it makes a lot of sense to like send him off the year, expiring year deal. But
yeah, but you just gave Malkin a 5-year contract, dude, and Letang a 6-year contract. I mean, those guys are on the tail ends of their careers. I don't know.
The Letang one's baffling to me, but Carlson's going to be making $10 million for 3 more years.
No, and look, you can't blame Dubas for trying and bringing Carlson in here and having just a lethal power play. And look, it didn't work. It didn't transpire, right? Doesn't mean he's not having a bad season, because he's not having a bad season, but it just didn't work the way you wanted it to work out. And he wasn't that piece that pushed you over the top, just like you thought Graves was going to be, that you thought that defensive core was going to be a little bit more. But
here's
it's
a question.
just, when
does Dubas go, all right, guys, we tried it, and now the real agenda comes out, which is we're going to trade guys now.
Wait, you mean he's going to write a letter to the fans and say, okay, listen, we're going to rebuild?
He's going to tell us
what kind of idiotic franchise does that?
Because, I mean, listen, we traded for Erik Karlsson, but now we're going to trade him out and have to retain cap space, have to retain some of his cap hit, because, realistically, they have to rebuild pretty heavily, in my opinion. There's too many guys on this deal. They're over 30, making way too much money. You have to start basically really breaking it down, and they could be terrible for a few years and get right back to it, or even maybe like 1 or 2 years if they get enough guys for Crosby and the right pieces. Maybe Malkin gets some like first or something. I don't know what he'll get eventually, because he's every year they hold on to him, he's going to be worth less. But yeah, that's my feeling, is that they're gonna have to start doing this like right away. I mean, the problem I think they have is with that is that they have 2 games, three games in hand on Washington. They're only a game back behind them. I mean, they're not that far back. They're definitely, if you look at the percentage of points, they're definitely far enough back. They're 541 right now. Detroit and Tampa are like the 575, 588 percentage. So it's like, in terms of points, it's they're 7 points back from Detroit, but they have games in hand. So it's not that much further back. It's just that's the appeal. I think that the team's gonna look at and say, we're right in it. So do you press on the gas or finally go off the fucking bus? I think it's time they got to tell them, but it's tough. I don't know. There's too many teams that are right there, and they're all gonna have to start making decisions really soon. So
they could get some electric players for the players that they want to send out who are young and hungry and haven't won and all that shit. Those guys that we're talking about, that core, that's a ton of capital for the Penguins to get back. A ton.
Yeah. What if one of the teams we're talking about? What if Nashville goes, hey, we're gonna throw you guys 2 firsts and a second
extra
for Crosby.
picks? Yeah, I mean,
they go, yeah, we'll do it. I mean, that's that's the biggest piece you could possibly pick up would be a Crosby. I don't think there's
Oh,
anybody else.
no
that
question.
I'm not sure if that's what you
that's
need
a guy.
to do it, but
That's a guy you trade a Perot for, of course.
yeah,
I don't necessarily think you trade him for a Gensel because he's going to be a rental. You want a guy back who is going to be here for at least multiple years. Crosby fits that bill.
Yep.
What are you thinking, Bill?
Oh gosh.
You want Perot for Crosby?
I'm not ready to
Not
pull the
straight-
trigger,
not
not
straight
straight
off.
up, but yeah.
Not straight up, of
I'll talk.
course.
I'll talk to the Rangers.
That would be lovely. That would be lovely.
Fitzgerald would take him, but he'd want the Penguins to pay his entire salary.
They'd want him to pay 87% of the salary. That's what they want to retain.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So you got to get creative sometimes. You got to get creative. All right, that's going to do it for us this week. Don't forget to follow us on the Twix at friends_rivals at
Just
that
don't
Billy,
talk.
say something witty.
Well, in the spirit of what we learned from this, remember that Jesus loves your feet.
And so does Tom.
Yes, he does. Yes, I do.
Oh.